In ancient times, it was commonly believed that the birth of Siamese twins was a harbinger of the end of the world. Because of this, they were abandoned by families everywhere, shamed and banished in their native places, and sometimes even sacrificed to the gods. Decades later, enterprising and greedy gentlemen began to make money from the strange brothers and sisters. They took the wretches to fairs and organized freak shows. Today only 5 stories of the lives of 2 people in one body will be told. The Hensel sisters are perhaps the most famous Siamese twins of modern times. Abby and Brittany are dicephalic twins. They have 1 torso, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 hearts and 3 lungs, but each controls their own half of the torso. The sisters were born in 1990 in Minnesota, USA. Despite the difficulties, Abby and Brittany mastered their bodies perfectly, learned to walk and now try to live a full life, work, play sports, have hobbies. Not many cases of dicephalic births are known to medicine, and the Hensel sisters were one of the lucky few to survive. Abby and Brittany remained living in their hometown, but were surrounded by media attention from childhood. In 1996, their story was featured on The Oprah Winfrey Show and in 2006 on the Learning Channel. In 2012, the Hensel sisters filmed their own reality show. Their parents taught the girls to believe in themselves, instilling in them the belief that they were capable of many things. And they turned out to be right. The sisters earned their bachelor's degrees in 2012, and they both know how to drive a car. The Hensels now work as teachers and make 1 salary for 2. In interviews, Abby and Brittany have repeatedly admitted that one day they dream of getting married and having children. About 80% of Siamese twins born with conjoined heads live no more than a few years, but there are exceptions. The boys, Anya's and Jaden McDonald, are now 8 years old. At the age of 13 months, they underwent a 27-hour surgery in which doctors managed to separate them. When Western media reported in September 2017 that the brothers could finally return home after nearly a year of rehabilitation, the public following the story breathed a sigh of relief. The twins' mother found out about the anomaly 4 months before the emergency C-section, in May 2015, but decided not to terminate the pregnancy despite doctors' entreaties. Her love gave the twins strength. Not only were they able to survive the lengthy surgery, but to the surprise of many, they recovered faster than expected. At the moment it is unknown how the fate of the babies will turn out, but, as we think, in this case, the absence of bad news is already good news. Ronnie and Donnie were born in 1951 in Ohio. Doctors kept them in a hospital room for 2 years, trying to find a way to separate them without harming their health. In the end, a safe way was never found, so the baby's parents asked that the children be left alone. From the age of 4, the Helion Siamese twins started earning money for the family by going to the circus arena. The whole thing is that when they tried to go to school, the teachers kicked them out because their appearance was distracting the whole class. In the end, the brothers didn't finish their careers until they were 39 and finally returned to their home country where their brother Jimmy was waiting for them. In 2010, their health deteriorated due to an infection and blood clots in their lungs, so their brother suggested they move in with him. The problem was that the house was completely unsuitable for people with disabilities. But the neighbors helped, and Ronnie and Donnie gradually got better. And Jim and his wife enjoyed spending time around them, fishing, going to the fair and visiting restaurants. Sadly, they passed away in 2020. Violet and Daisy Hilton had been joined at the hips and buttocks since birth. Doctors were afraid to operate and separate the girls because, as it turned out, they had common circles of blood circulation. The parents forced the girls to perform on stage to make money. Eventually a theater owner named Hilton simply bought them off their mother, giving them a new last name at the same time. They lived virtually in captivity, forced to perform and beaten for disobedience. But as adults, they sued their jailer for $100,000. 21 states denied them the right to marry, and it wasn't until 1936 that they were allowed to do so. They died in 1969 at the age of 60, 2 days apart. The story of the Soviet Siamese twins is considered one of the most tragic. The girls were not wanted to be shown to their mother, and when she did take a look at them, she went mad and ended up in a psychiatric hospital. Under pressure from doctors, the father signed his daughter's death certificates, and Masha and Dasha were placed in an institution for the disabled, ischiopagus, fused in the lower part of the torso, literally tortured in boarding schools, stabbed one girl with a needle to see if the other felt, put on ice to find out if the twins would be equally ill. Worst of all, the children had to go to Novocherkassk boarding school, here, because of bullying and beatings from peers. Masha and Dasha first thought about leaving life. At the age of 12, the Krivosh-Lyapovs first tried alcohol to keep up with their peers, and when they ran away to Moscow and settled in a boarding house, they began to drink constantly. A special blow for the girls was a meeting with their abandoned mother. She did not come to the delight, and upset Daria decided to use alcohol. Medics tried to code the twins, but even if one struggled with addiction, the second took up the old, and a single circulatory system dispersed alcohol throughout the body. The sisters were diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, which did not make them give up the bad habit. In 1989, the twins were given an apartment so that no one else could control them. In 2003, Maria died of a heart attack, and 17 hours later Daria followed her, dying of intoxication. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to put likes and leave comments. Subscribe to the channel not to miss more exciting stories.